obviously, as an editor, you want to take your time to craft the right story, but in this business, there is an element of speed. And I feel like Media Composer over the years has allowed me to become fast. My name is Remis. I'm an editor for The Voice, recently nominated for an Emmy. The thing I love about The Voice the most is there's always a sense of teamwork. It's a large group of editors and producers who work on it, but at its heart, it's really about storytelling and elevating these artists. So I'm a journalist at heart. I love storytelling. It's why I love editing. But when you work on a show like The Voice, that's the goal. The goal is really to take people who are unknown, who are not, they're singers, they're artists, nobody knows who they are. And so it's our job to elevate them. The episode, The Battles premiere, that was selected for the Emmy nomination. Generally, the Battles, starts to, you're narrowing down these artists, and our goal is to continue their story, continue their journey. We look back at the blind auditions, and then we're looking ahead at really taking their story a step further. So the editors are kind of crafting all these stories, and trying to move the journey forward for these artists. And so it really kind of covers a gamut of storytelling and experience. When I found out about the nomination, I was actually in the car, and a longtime producer friend of the show called me, so I actually had no idea. I was planning on waking up that morning and really watching, but I was in the car driving, and so I got the call and got congratulations from my producer, who I've worked with for a long time. The buzz kind of starts from there, and all the editors are congratulating each other, and we all got together for drinks, after, and my family calls, and so it's fun. Everybody's, really thrilled and happy. The challenge of doing an episode like this is really moving the story forward. Again, a challenge for editors is, how do you take an artist who's unknown, who's never been seen before? You get a little bit of their story in their first audition. But as you move forward, how do you continue to make them, again, relatable? How do you make them rootable? How do you present them in this light that these artists or even the coaches go home and their story is continuing? I think that's a challenge for editors and producers to kind of collaborate together on how do you figure out, how do you make the story continue, so it's not just the same story, but that the season is progressing to this exciting end that we know we're gonna eventually get to. And so that's always the challenge for editors and producers, to kind of collaborate and bring that out. When I look at the aspect of Media Composer as a tool and as a platform that we use, and having done this for 25 years, I tend to really look at the assistant editors and post. What we do as editors is creative, and it's fun and storytelling, but none of this would exist. The editors wouldn't be able to do all this if we didn't have a strong support system in assistant editors and post. And a lot of that has to do with them and how skilled they are, but it's also Media Composer itself, and the fact that we're using a platform that is seamless, that works well, that is organized well, and can support a show like this that's got 20 plus editors and producers all working at the same time, jumping into bins and sequences and moving things around. There is an organized structure. I don't think it would work the same way if Avid wasn't the platform and you didn't have the AEs, who are it's an incredible team. So we don't have to necessarily think about the technical stuff because they've got it. And that says a lot, not only to Avid and how it works with our show, and we've done this for a long time, but it also speaks to the tech people behind it. That's kind of what I always point to. So knowing Media Composer, I've been working on it for 25 years. So I've seen the progression of the software and the progression of the tools, and I've always tried to keep up and learn as much as I can. But I always go back to the concept of speed. And the reason I bring that up, obviously as an editor, you want to take your time to craft the right story, but in this business, there is an element of speed that sometimes is required. And I feel like Media Composer over the years has allowed me to become fast. Still creative, but there are deadlines, there are time crunches, all that still exists in television. So there is this aspect of okay, We want you to tell the best story possible, but let's try to do it in the next half hour, And I've certainly worked on shows before too, where that's, you're doing live to tape or you're cutting a package that has to be delivered that evening. So there's this aspect of speed, and that's really been a benefit to us, not only turning around shows, but still doing so with the creative process of editing and the storytelling still being at the heart of it. For people who are looking to get into editing, whether it's TV or film, I think there's always two parts to it. I think the first part is there's obviously the technical part. Young people should be learning Avid, they should be learning Premiere, they should be, using multiple platforms, and learning the tech stuff, and learning the keyboard editing and how to do it. The ever more important part to it is the kind of human part, and being someone who can work with people easily, who has fun at their job, doesn't take things personally, knows how to do notes, knows how to collaborate, work with various personalities, because working in TV, you work with all kinds of personalities. And I think having a strong sense of self and having a good backbone and knowing how to deal with all those personalities is important for anybody.